Hello, my name is Edheba and I will be introducing you into the basics of computer. During the course of our discussion, we will be getting into a simple definition of computer and the two major components of every computer. Also, we will discuss about the types of computer and finally differentiate between the two most common personal computers available. Please, while you watch this lesson, endeavor to answer all the questions that are attached during the interactive session of the video. And at the end of the lesson, please take your quiz questions and assignments that are attached in the Google Classroom and submit before the due date. Thank you very much. Now, let's get into our discussion properly. Seriously, there are so many complicated definitions of a computer that I even get confused myself. But it is safe to say that demystifying the definition of a computer is not as difficult as it seems. Three words stand out when defining a computer. One is store, two is retrieve, and three process. In other words, once these three processes can be achieved and the device is an electronic device, it is safe to say that that device is a computer. All this being said, let us arrange for ourselves a simple yet complete definition of a computer. A computer is an electronic device that manipulates information or data. It has the ability to store, retrieve, and process data. What enables a computer to perform this function? It has two major components. That two major components is what we will discuss about now. The two major components that makes up a computer is the hardware and the software. As the name implies, one is hard and the other is soft, both of which cannot exist independently of the other. They need each other to function. Just like a flesh cannot function without its spirit, so also the hardware of a computer is useless without the software of the computer. The hardware of the computer is any part that has a physical structure, such as the keyboard that we can see or the mouse. It also includes the internal parts of the computer. Take for example the motherboard. The motherboard is an internal part of the computer system that performs all the operations, all the numerical calculations that take place in the computer. That is where most, if not all, parts of the computer is connected to. So the hardware structure of the computer is what determines the parts that we can see and we can touch. The software part of the computer is a set of instructions that tells the hardware part what to do and how to do it. For example, we have our web browser. In order for us to connect to the internet, we need a modem, which is a hardware. We need our system, we need our keyboard, and all other hardware parts of the computer. Now, the web browser is a software that tells the computer how it can be able to connect to the internet and then display the results that we want to see. When you are also playing a game, you need a pad to be able to connect to your game. The software part of the computer, which is like the games that we see, tells the pad, the keys on the pad, on what to do. And when you type on your keyboard in order to print out a document, you also need a processor. That is a word processor. All these are examples. The web browser, the game, and the word processor are all examples of software that tells the hardware part of the computer what they need to do. For example, we have a PowerPoint presentation. This video that we are currently watching was done with a Microsoft PowerPoint presentation. The PowerPoint presentation is what enables us to join words, voice, and video together to form a presentation. So in essence, the software needs the hardware as much as the hardware needs the software. That is why both of them together is what makes up a computer. And if any of them is not functional, the computer itself is not functional. Let us now consider the types of computer that we have. When most people hear the word computer, they think of a personal computer, such as desktop and laptop. However, computer comes in many shapes and sizes, and they perform many different functions in our daily lives. When you withdraw cash from an ATM or use a calculator, you are actually using a type of computer. Let us consider some of these. Please note that in mentioning types of computer, our initial definition of computer says that a computer is an electronic device that manipulates information or data and has the ability to store, retrieve, and process data comes into play. First on the list of our types of computer is desktop computer. Take a look. A desktop computer uh, has the computer case, the monitor, the keyboard, and also the mouse, as we can see. All these are the components that makes up a desktop computer. Most of us have a desktop computer at home, at school, even at work. And this is typically how a desktop computer looks like. And that is what we have in most of our homes. Next on the list is a laptop computer. A laptop computer is just compact. It comes with just the screen and the keyboard that we can see. It is easy to carry, it is powered by battery, and it is more portable than the desktop computer. We can use it and carry it to anywhere we intend to travel to with it. Next on our list is the tablets. Tablets are also portable computers, just like the laptop computer we mentioned. They are handheld computers. They are even more portable than a laptop. But instead of using mouse or keyboard to operate the the computer, just like we do laptop and desktop, we have a touch sensitive interface that while using it, you can just touch the screen to get whatever functions you want. And if you want to also type, you can also invoke a keyboard. Some tablet computers comes with a keyboard attached to it, but basically a tablet computer is meant to be a touch screen. We have the iPad as an example of a tablet computer. We have our Samsung tabs and all other tabs like Techno and all the rest that are 7 to 10 inches wide in size. All these are types of tablet computer. Lastly, apart from these ones that I mentioned, we also have what we call the server. The server is a computer that serves up information to other computers on a network. For example, say you are browsing the internet, you want to collect some information or you are looking for something. What you are actually getting are information that are stored on certain servers all over the world. If you type something on Google and you are looking to get the answer that you are getting is something that is saved in someone else's computer. But these computers are not as small as desktop or laptop or tablet computers, but they are actually big. In the photograph, for example, you see how large a server computer can be. These computers are just meant to store information. Many businesses use them as local file servers to store files and share files internally and also externally, which then involves the use of the internet. So when we are getting information using the HTTP, which is the hypertext markup protocol that we use to get information from the internet, we are actually querying a server. We're actually querying a server to provide us with that information. Lastly, we also need to know that there are other types of computer. Apart from what we've just mentioned so far, the desktop computer, the laptop computer, the tablet computer, and the server computer. There are other types of computer that are around us that we do not truly see as a computer, but they are actually computer. Many of these specialized computer, they perform just a few function, not like the ones that we mentioned that perform numerous function. Let us consider some of them. For example, we have our smartphone, your Samsung Galaxy, your Techno, your Infinix, whatever phones you are using that you can use to play game, browse the internet, make calls, all those phones are also computers themselves. They can do a lot of things like the computer can do. You can even use them to prepare presentation slides, and I believe that that is what most of us will be using to assess this class. Also are the wearables. Now we have wristwatches that are smart in per se. They have the ability to make calls even like smartphone does. They have the ability to monitor our heartbeat rate. They have the ability to monitor us when we move from one place to another. They come with GPS and so many other functions. All these wearable technology are coming into play, and they are becoming very, very useful because you see someone that has say that is hypertensive. The wearable that he or she wears can be able to measure the heart rate and the level of sugar, the hypertensive level of such an individual. All these are computers as well that we can also use. Again is the game console. Some of us, we have the PS2, the PSP, the Xbox. All these are also different types of computer that we can use to connect to our TVs to play game. We can also classify them as parts of computer because one, a computer game stores information. A computer game retrieves information, and it also has the ability to process the information that we send into it. And it is an electronic device. As such, we can classify it as a computer as well. Also now we have the modern kind of TVs. There are TVs that we have these days that can connect to the internet. All these TVs can even install application on them. We have different functions that these TVs can perform. As such, we can also classify these TVs as parts of computers because they have the ability to do what other computers are doing. They perform the three basic functions that we mentioned earlier as on our definition of computer. As such, we can decide to classify TVs as parts of the types of computer. So far, we've mentioned desktop computer, laptop computer, tablet computers, servers. We have also said that other types of computers are smartphones, wearables like wristwatches, game consoles, and TVs. All these are the types of computer. Remember we mentioned that most times when people hear about computer, the first thing that comes to their mind are PCs, which are personal computers. We are now going to discuss about the two types of personal computers that we have majorly in the world today. We have two types of personal computers, the PCs and the Mac. The PCs and the Mac, they are both functional. They did basically the same thing, but they have different look and feel, and many people have their choices. Some prefer the PC and some prefer the Mac. The first of which is the PCs. These PCs, they are just a type of computer that began production by IBM PC, and it was introduced in the year 1981. Then after that, other companies joined IBM in producing this kind of PCs, which are called the IBM PCs. This PC, they commonly comes with the Microsoft Windows operating system. Then you can also install other operating system in these PCs if you like. Say for example, you want to use the Linux operating system on these IBM PCs, you can make use of them. The other type of PC that we have is the Mac. The Macs originally, they are also called the Macintosh computer, for short the Macs. These Macs were introduced in 1984, and it is used widely. It was the first personal computer that was widely distributed with the GUI interface, that is the graphical user interface. And all these computers, all these Mac computers, are basically made by the Apple Corporation. And most times, because of the fact that they are made by Apple, the operating system that comes with them are the Mac OS X operating system. As such, they are not easily available to be used with other operating systems, but with a little tweak, such Mac PCs can also be used for other operating systems. Conclusively, let us go over what we have learned so far. We've discussed about the definition of computer. We've made mention of the fact that in defining computer, three keywords are to stand out. That the computer has to be able to store, retrieve, and process data or information. Then we went further to discuss about the two components of computer. We said we have the software and the hardware, which both of them cannot exist without the other, so they have to coexist together. Then we discussed about the types of computer. We said we have the desktop computer, the laptop computer, the tablet computer, the server computers. We also discussed about other types of computer that are not easily seen as computer, but in essence, because they perform the same functions as other computers, they are also computers. We made mention of things such as the wearables, the smartphones. We also discussed about TVs, game consoles. They are also seen as types of computers. Then we also differentiate between the PCs and the Mac as the two major type of personal computers that we have in today's world. We said that first of all, the IBM PCs came into existence in 1981, and that it can carry many kinds of operating system easily. We also discussed about the Macintosh, which is the Mac personal computers that came into existence in 1984, and we said that it is majorly produced by Apple company and use majorly the Mac operating system. Thank you very much for watching. Conclusively, we are going to also discuss in our next class about the components that makes up a computer. We are going to learn about different components such as the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, and the mouse alternative. We are going to discuss in details how some of these components function and how we can make use of them. Please note that you must have to take your quizzes and your assignments, and make sure you submit them before the due date in order for you to proceed to your next class in your Google Classroom. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next class.